order to build your SEO efforts, you first must have a website with a strong SEO foundation. And for that to happen, your website must first have a strong code foundation. Because SEO relies heavily on search engine crawlers, your website's code has one of the most important roles in all of SEO. The bots need to be able to read and index your content correctly so that it can be displayed to the right people and clicked on by people who need to see that information. If your website's code isn't up to stuff, it's going to be like rowing a boat upstream without a paddle. So let's take a look under the hood at a few code-related items that will give your SEO efforts the strong foundation necessary. Code actually has a lot to do with your SEO and your page rank. For starters, search engine crawlers don't see web pages the same way you or I do. These are bots, so they don't see the visual representation of the page like we do, or at least they currently don't. Instead, they use the HTML code to figure out what's going on the page. We'll talk more about this here in a second, but really your HTML code can help or hinder those crawlers from correctly indexing your pages. If done right, the HTML will tell those crawlers exactly what everything is, from something that's an article, to the title, to the text, and a whole lot more. And if not done correctly, then the crawlers can only guess at the relationships between items. Also, not to get too developer heavy in all this, but the way your CSS and JavaScript is written can affect your page speed, which can also affect your page's SEO. If your external files are pushing 100 kilobytes because they're poorly written, that's going to slow your page down and it's going to kill the SEO. This also goes for those 1 megabyte photos you keep uploading. Really getting a good code foundation for your website is going to give you a very good SEO foundation. As I mentioned earlier, search engine crawlers can't see web pages the same way we do. So they rely on HTML and the HTML attributes inside of that to figure out what's going on the page and what the relationships are. One very common way they do this is through Schema. According to SEMrush, Schema is a structured data vocabulary that defines entities, actions, and relationships on the internet. In short, it offers up a description of what different elements are and their relationship to each other. There are a number of different types of schemas out there, from blog posts to images to videos to even recipes. I highly recommend checking out schema.org to look through all of them and how they are created in code. As an example, if we have a blog post, our main article wrapper will contain this HTML attribute. The title will have an item prop attribute with a value of title, and then the wrapper div around the text will have an item prop attribute with a value of text. If this all sounds and looks weird to you, then I highly recommend getting a developer to help you out. As a side note, if you use WordPress and you have an SEO plugin like Yoast, it's probably already doing a lot of this for you. There's a whole world of schema out there that I'm just barely touching for now. But I've linked to a few helpful articles in the description below to help get you really started with this. Page speed absolutely matters in today's world. If your website doesn't load quickly, especially on mobile, people are going to leave your website. And search engines, especially Google, take that into account. How much it's taken into account really changes, day to day, but really it's always a good idea to make sure your page is loading as quickly as it can. One great tool you can use for this is Google's Page Speed Insights. This will give your website a score for how quickly it loads on desktop and mobile devices. I wouldn't worry about the exact numerical score it gives you, since that can be very fickle. Instead, I look to see if the page is in the yellow or hopefully the green. And I also look for the tips it gives you below the score to make changes and improve that score. That's really where you're going to be able to learn about and fix your problems. But definitely make sure that your pages are loading as quickly as you can get them to. Because a lot of this requires dipping into the code, it's probably worth it to go out and find a developer to help you with it. They'll know exactly what to look for the different SEO problems that you might have on your website. And because of their experience, they'll know how to fix these problems without taking down your website. That will save you money and headaches in the long run. If you really want to make sure that your website's SEO code is up to par, I really highly recommend that you find a developer for this job. So that's basically it for SEO and your website's code. As I mentioned last time, this series is basically an introductory course over the different aspects of SEO so that you can dive deeper on your own into them to figure out how they can help you and your website and your business. I've left some links down in the description below over SEO and website code to help you get started with today's video. And if you have access to LinkedIn Learning, I've linked to a couple of really good courses on SEO. As always, if you have questions about SEO, feel free to leave them down in comments below, or you can reach out on social media. Next time, we'll be talking about keyword research. But until then, I wish you and your business the best of luck.